Hello and welcome to the final segment of the March Madness PYC episode. For myself, Darrion Allensworth, my panel, Scott Donnelly, Ron Brown, we're going to be breaking down the Midwest region. Guys, going to be a very interesting, I think, Midwest bracket. I mean, Ron, you and I, we talked about it. Maybe compared to the other regions, it's not as packed in terms of strong teams. But there are some interesting matchups here. Is there any matchup that you guys want to start with first? Ron, we'll go with you.
I think, we should start at the top and work our way down.
Okay.
So, I think Purdue versus, was it Montana State?
Montana State or Grambling.
Yeah.
Depends who
so they didn't
wins.
play it. So
right.
They didn't play it. So, I think Purdue will win that one, but I don't see them getting past the second round because they're pretenders usually, Every year, I picked Purdue last year to make it a little run, and they lose to FDU. They got a 5'8" backcourt.
Yeah.
Like, come on now. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing, And I just think I'm not going with Purdue after the first round. So.
But you do have them winning the first round no matter who it is, Montana State or Grambling.
Yeah, I have them beating either one of those teams.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think for this first round matchup, I think Purdue should win and get out of the first round. What do you think, Scott?
I'm on that too. Yeah, they're not going to go down to. They're the second number one ever lose to a 16. They're not going to be the third. They're winning this one.
You never know.
I do know they are not losing this game.
Stranger things
bank
have
on that
happened.
one. Bank on that one.
All right, next we'll see. We'll just go down by ranking. We'll go Tennessee, St. Peter's. Again, personally, Ron, you and I, again, we talked a little bit. St. Peter's can make things a little weird. I do have Tennessee beating St. Peter's. I think Dalton Connect, a one-man wrecking crew, has been performing all season. Multiple 30-point bombs. He's had a 40-point bomb recently. He's extremely great player. Who do you guys have? Tennessee beating St. Peter's. We'll go to you, Scott. What do you think for this?
Tennessee on that one, and I got them in a blowout actually.
Yeah, I think Tennessee wins that one. Although you never know with St. Peter's because they're sneaky. They've done it before, so you can't count them completely out. But just thinking, normally I think Tennessee will win, but I'm not going to completely count St. Peter's out though.
I'm counting them out completely. I am. They
like
2
I
years
said,
ago they went to the
there's
Elite
a reason why they play the games. As my dad would say, that's why you play the game.
Right, so Tennessee can march on and take care of their business. That's why they're playing.
That's why you play the game. It
going,
don't matter.
Scott, you said it was going to be a blowout. By how many points?
Don't matter.
I think they'll win by 15.
15?
Yeah, I do. Again, St. Peter's is 19-13. I know they won the MAC tournament, but they got one guy that was on the Elite Eight 2 years ago. This isn't 2 years ago. This is not 2022. Tennessee's rolling in this one.
Them rankings, man. Them rankings. It don't matter when you're out there playing. Whatever your ranking is, don't matter when you're out there playing the game. It really doesn't. When you're out there playing the game, it's 5-on-5. It's best on best out there.
Listen, I feel like the only reason we're making an argument about the rankings is because we have Purdue in this region because Purdue has disappointed the last 3 years.
That's the point.
But moving on to the next, like Scott said, Creighton over going against number 14 Akron. Again, personally, I don't think this is too bit of a wish-wash here. I have Creighton.
Yeah, I have Creighton as well. Although the Big East was pretty mid this year. Okay. It's not as good as it's been over the last several years, but only it's different them only having 3 teams in it this year. But I think Creighton will roll through Akron pretty easy. I don't see Akron really posting up too much of a threat to them.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Creighton's won 7 of their last 10. Too much scoring, too much rebounding. I'm taking Creighton.
Yeah, agreed. Creighton's, in my mind, definitely one of the deepest teams, if not the deepest team, in the Midwest region. They're one of my favorite in this region as well. So I completely agree. Moving on to the 4 seed, Kansas against Samford. I think this game could be interesting. I think it will be one of the better first-round matchups in this region. Kansas obviously fighting through injuries. McCullough and Dickinson coming back from their injuries. I do have Kansas winning. However, I would not be surprised of an upset by Samford. Ron, we'll go to you for this one.
Well, McCollier, he's out for the whole tournament. Yeah, he's out for the tournament.
Yeah, I don't believe he's
done.
coming back, but Dickinson is. So that's important.
Yeah, he's the leading scorer. So I mean, I think they'll roll through the first round. If McCollier was there, I definitely would have them maybe winning out this region. But now I think with him being out, it's kind of I wouldn't put no money down on them.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think the injuries to McCollier and Dickinson definitely have to be something you look at, especially, again, in this first round against Stanford, they should be okay. But looking into the next round, into the round of 32, it could get dicey. It could get dicey for sure. Moving on to the 5 seed, 6 seed South Carolina over Oregon. I think South Carolina will win this, but I think you guys disagree with that. Going against the number 11 Oregon seed.
I think Oregon could possibly, I think Oregon could win that one. I think they play that fast pace kind of. So I think Oregon could possibly win that. I had to have an upset in here. I had to have an upset in the first round. So they can't all be, just go straight through. I think there has to be at least one. I'd take Oregon on this one.
Take Oregon.
Yeah, and I don't actually really think this is that much of an upset. The big man for Oregon, N'Faly Dante, he's coming back out of an injury. He's 6'11" guy and he's playing well. So had he been in there earlier in the season, Oregon may not be an 11 seed. They got big man, they got experience. South Carolina has a coach, first time in the tournament, Lamont Paris. I'm going with Oregon to win this game. I'm picking the lower seed on this one as well.
Okay, so I disagree. I do think
he was coming back. He's been hurt.
Yeah, he's been playing well since he's been back.
He's pretty dominant. He's dominant. He's a dominant force.
I mean,
I think he could be right there with Zach Edey.
Oregon did cruise through the Pac-12 tournament. They made it look easy. So I definitely think it's fair to see
Pac-12
Oregon beating them.
was kind of weak.
Weak,
this year.
yeah, no.
It was kind of weak, yeah.
Absolutely. Moving on to next matchup, number 7 Texas over number 10 Colorado State. I have Texas beating Colorado State. I don't think Colorado State has looked good really as of recent either. Max Abmas, Tyrese Hunter, that starting lineup has looked really good for Texas. Scott, what do you think?
Boy, they crushed Virginia though. They rolled Virginia. Their best player wasn't even their top scorer, Isaiah Stevens. He's their top scorer. This is a team that's coming in a little bit angry. They felt they should have been rated a little bit higher in the tournament. So a team that's playing with a chip on their shoulder, playing a little angry. I got them beating Texas. I got them coming off of already having got their feet wet in the tournament. They were in a groove. I think they beat Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so 24 hours ago, before that game last night, if you asked me that question, I would have said, I would have thought Virginia would have beat Colorado State. But, last night that was pretty embarrassing from Virginia, seeing that you go 13 minutes without a bucket. But, I think that game is kind of a toss-up because Texas wasn't very good this year. So, I mean, I don't know who to pick on that one.
Texas was 9-9 in their conference. Now, granted, the Big 12 was a good conference.
But usually they're good. Yeah. Usually Texas is good.
They might be a little bit offensively better. Colorado State rebounds the ball well. Excuse me. I just think that coming in with, like I said, with the anger of being seated so low, having to play into this game.
They're going to be playing. They're going to be. That's the thing about those lower seeds. Those lower seeds in the tournament is you get these teams that are hungry. They're out there. They're playing with their heads on fire. They're trying to they're trying to take your head off every time, every second that's on that clock. They're trying to rip your head off. And Colorado State could be one of those teams that's just like that. So they might get out there and they might punch Texas right in the mouth. They might get out there and just whoop on them.
I mean, I definitely would not rule out a Colorado State upset. However, just the starting 5, a fun fact with this new starting 5 that Texas has been running with Max Abmas, Tyrese Hunter, IT Horton, Dylan Mitchell, and Dylan Ndisu, they've been having a net worth rating of 34.5 since this lineup has come together in about 82 minutes together on the court, shooting over 57% from 3. Now, of course, in this new, I shouldn't say new, but like as 3-point shooting has risen over just basketball as in general, whoever's the hottest tends to win. And just with how hot Texas has been, now obviously if they're cold, they're gonna lose. That's plain and simple. But if they're hot, I do have them beating Colorado pretty easily.
Live by the 3, die by the 3.
That's it.
Live by the 3, die by the 3.
Yep, absolutely. TCU, or number 8, I should say, start with number 8 Utah State taking on number 9 TCU. What do you guys think of this one? I think it's going to be an upset, although not much one of TCU beating Utah.
I think, and Jamie Dixon is my guy. I always, being a Pitt fan, I always wish Pitt would have kept him. I think Jamie Dixon gonna find a way to pull this one out. TCU's gonna win this one, and I think they might beat Purdue the next round. Just like the way history falls in line for Purdue the last couple years, I think they're gonna jump ahead and beat Purdue too.
Well, there is an injury. They're one of their better players, Emmanuel Miller, hurt his ankle in the Big 12 tournament. That could be a factor in this. But I do like the fact that TCU is battle-tested. Jameer Nelson Jr., Micah Peavy, pair of senior starters there. And I like seniors this time of year. I like experience.
For sure.
And though I have seen Jamie Dixon stop coaching at the end of the first round many times in the past, I'm going with TCU in this one as well.
Yeah, so sweep across the board. We have TCU beating Utah State. And the last matchup that we're going to talk about in the first round, number 5 Gonzaga taking on number 12 McNeese State. Personally, I think McNeese State can beat Gonzaga. I don't think Gonzaga has looked that good this year. Ron, what do you think?
I think Gonzaga's going to win. They're another one that history just doesn't go in their favor at all. But I think at least they'll get out the first round. I think they'll beat McNeese. But Gonzaga, like I said, history always seems to be against them. The basketball gods seem to be against them because every time somebody always picks them to do good, they just find a way to mess it up and lose somehow, whether it's, the second round, Sweet 16. They lost in the championship twice. So, I think Gonzaga will win, though.
Okay.
Well, Ron, you can't spell wrong without the R-O-N. I'm going with McNeese. They have 30 wins this year. 30, that's a big number.
Who have they played?
They played the Southland Conference, and they were 19-1 in that big Southland Conference. 10-0 in their last 10 games. They're outscoring opponents 81-67.
Who named these opponents though?
All the Southland Conference guys. That's who they played. The Steelers, the Packers. I don't know who the Southland Conference is.
Okay, so you brought this up. They haven't even played anybody.
But they got 30 wins.
They haven't played anybody.
Gonzaga's beaten either this year, but I'm going to upset. I think McNeese can shoot the ball, and I'm riding with them in the upset. When you win 30 games and then you get seeded 12th, you're not too happy about that. And Gonzaga
but the thing is,
underperformed all
year. They haven't played anybody. You talking about all these teams?
They played Geneva. Grove City.
Yeah, that's about the level of competition.
Do we have them here?
That's about the level of competition. That's
not.
about the level of competition right there.
All
it's
right.
like they might be playing Washington Trinity too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they might be playing them too.
Yeah.
So
okay. So moving on to the next round, we'll just take your second round picks. Ron, who do you have winning and moving on out of the second round?
I think, like I said, I'm just going with my gut here, and I'm saying Purdue's going to lose in the second round to TCU.
Okay.
Just because the way, history always seems to, history will erase the mystery. Because, Purdue is always seemed to be a team that fumbles the bag. They had it last year against FDU. They had it a few years ago, and they mess it up. And the thing is, I don't understand is like last year, like their big guy, their best player shoots like not even 10 shots last year. So if you have a guy like that, and he's rolling, you gotta feed him the ball. But they just seem to want to go away from that and want to go do their own thing, but their own thing doesn't work.
I agree with what you're saying about last year. Edie didn't touch the ball, and they deserve to lose for that reason. So. Yeah, I'm a little skeptical of Matt Painter's coaching style. By the way, did you guys know Matt Painter was the assistant coach at W&J and that was his first job out of college back in '93 and '94. They were nationally ranked W&J team, but
So we don't like them.
so we're going to root against them. But I think Purdue's more than a one-trick pony. I think they got experience, and they're not going to let it slip what happened to them last year. So I see them. I got Purdue in the Sweet 16.
Yep, I agree. I think Purdue beats TCU.
And then after seeing, earlier this season what they put up against Ohio State, I mean that I wouldn't be surprised if they lost in the second round after just seeing them games like that they lost.
Yep.
And you're not at home.
Country's top player Zach Edey, I'm riding him to the Sweet 16.
They got to give him the ball though.
We agreed that Kansas was going to move on to the next round. What are you guys looking in that matchup for Kansas, whether it's McNeese or Gonzaga?
I think if it's Gonzaga, that's gonna be a dog fight there because you got the 4 and 5 seed. Kansas is playing without their best player, but their second best player is coming back though, and Gonzaga is, they're usually Gonzaga. So I mean, I think that's gonna be a dog fight right there between those two. As far as McNeese, even though you seem to love these guys so much, I mean. If they do beat Gonzaga, I don't see them making a run. So, I mean, yeah.
I got Kansas running out of gas with the injury situation. I got McNeese taking the Cinderella story in their 31st win into the Sweet 16.
Okay. I mean, I do like McNeese. Shahada Wells averaging 18 points per game. In my opinion, especially with how basketball is right now, it's a guards game. I think Shahada Wells is one of the best guards in the game, men's college basketball right now.
40% from downtown.
Yeah. I mean, I am taking. So I will also take McNeese. Next matchup, Creighton versus. Well, we agree Creighton is going to get out of the first round. Yeah. Them versus most likely. Well, I can't say most likely. It's March Madness. Nothing is most likely. But with South Carolina or Oregon, who do you guys have?
I'm gonna keep rolling with Oregon and the big man. I got Oregon in the Sweet 16.
Creighton, like you said, it's a guards game. So I mean, Creighton's tough, and then that Big East basketball is different. They play with a different physicality. Other than that West Coast basketball out there, so they, even if they do, with the big guy down low, I mean they might could rough them up a little bit maybe. So who knows with that one, but I think I'll take Creighton though.
Yeah, I mean I agree with you. I'm taking Creighton as well. I'm a big fan of Trey Alexander, so that's why I'm going to take Creighton. And then Tennessee against. You have Colorado. You have Texas. Who you guys have?
Tennessee advances.
Yeah, Tennessee advances.
I agree. Tennessee also will advance as well. And then moving on to the Sweet 16. Who do you guys have winning that and getting into the Elite Eight?
My Elite Eight looks like Purdue versus Tennessee. Not really a bold pick. I'm taking 1 and 2. This Oregon-Tennessee matchup that I have predicted gives me a little bit of worry because typically Barnes, the coach, Rick Barnes, coach in Tennessee, falters around this time of year. I think this is his year. I think Tennessee moves on. Tennessee, Purdue.
Yeah. As far as like that top part of the bracket, I don't know who's gonna make it out that way because.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. I said if I had to make my pick, I had Kansas earlier, but like I said, they were kind of beat up. So I'm going to say either Kansas or Gonzaga coming out that part, and then Tennessee on the bottom because I don't see anybody beating them as far as, I don't see anybody beating them.
Yeah.
And so, I say it's either going to be Kansas or Gonzaga coming out versus Tennessee.
Okay. I have Purdue and Creighton in the Elite Eight meeting up against each other. I have Creighton making it into the Final Four. Who are you guys' Final Four picks?
My entire Final Four, I have Tennessee moving on to play Kentucky, and on the other side I've got UConn and North Carolina. That's my 4.
I said UConn, and then I'm still at like a dilemma with like who's going to come out the East. So I'm like, am I going to pick UNC or Arizona? So
the West. That's the West.
Yeah, the West. I mean, they got this all messed up on here. But UConn and Arizona or UNC, and I think whoever wins out of those 3 teams is going to be the
You
champ.
can't pick a final 6. Come on, get off the fence here. Give me something.
I'm like,
Give me
I want to
something.
go. I want
Who
to
are your
go.
champions?
I want to go with North Carolina because pick guys, so I want to see the ACC represented pretty well. But I think whoever wins out of that one is going to be the champ, because I mean, as far as like the West, Houston. I don't see Houston, going real far. They got upset a few times this year, so I don't see Houston going real far. I think probably Kentucky makes it out of that one. I'd say Kentucky, Tennessee, UConn, and UNC will be the Final Four for me.
Too much talent, too much experience, too much coaching. UConn for the repeat. UConn over Tennessee.
I agree with you. I think UConn with the back-to-back. That is going to do it for this episode of PYC. Thank you for all the panels for their breakdowns of March Madness. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time here on Plead Your Case.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.